All right, welcome to episode 2 of the things I wish I knew before. And in this episode, I'm going to go over 8 things about marriage and parenting that are trendy. And I got this off of either an Instagram post or a Facebook post. Unfortunately, I didn't write down who actually posted this. I'll do better about that before. Number 1, being child-free for selfish reasons. And the world's trend, or I think the post actually just said trend, but I'm going to put the world's trend, is having kids is too much of a sacrifice. And the truth, we benefit so much by having them. Children are a blessing, not a burden. And in Psalms chapter 127, verses 3 through 5, it reads, "Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gate." And with this first one, I can see it. Everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people have become very selfish. Me. And they go about building their careers and focusing on their careers instead of their legacy, pretty much. Another thing I do get a lot of is I've heard it several times over the years that, oh, we want to have children, but we kind of want to wait till we're more financially secure. And to be honest, with the devil's war on family, that's probably never going to have the financial backing necessarily to have kids. But once you have kids, the Lord will find a way. All right, number 2, happiness over holiness. So the world's trend, if your marriage doesn't make you happy, walk away. And the truth, marriage is a covenant, not a convenience. Other than obvious situations like abuse, what God joined together, we shouldn't separate, even if you're not happy. And it references Mark chapter 10, verse 9. And it says, "What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder." And I'm going to go ahead and read 10, 11, and 12, because I think those verses after verse 9 go with this as well. And it says, "And in the house of his disciples asked him again of this same matter. And he saith unto them, Whosoever shall put away his wife, and marry another, committeth adultery against her. And if a woman shall put away her husband, and be married to another, she committeth adultery." And we see this a lot. The lack of happiness in marriage. And I can see it in couples of which ones are happy and which ones aren't. But the grass is not greener on the other side, ladies and gentlemen. It is. Happiness comes from within you. And we'll go more into the marriage thing at a later episode. But what it boils down to is each couple needs to wake up every morning and say, I choose you, and build each other. All right. Number 3, happy wife, happy life. World's trend. Just give her what she wants so the house is peaceful. The truth. Don't be Ahab and Jezebel. Marriage is mutual. Honor and sacrifice, not appeasement. And it references Ephesians chapter 5 verse 33, but it didn't really make sense to me because the story of Ahab and Jezebel were in 1st and 2nd Kings, I believe. And one of the issues, the scriptures even mention that, well, I don't know if it mentions it, but it says Jezebel was the downfall of Ahab's kingdom, basically. And as you know in the scriptures, she worshipped the god Baal. And I think what it's getting at with their story is Ahab was pretty much just letting her, I could be wrong, but just letting her just to be happy, going with whatever she wanted, just to make her happy. And it led to the downfall of his house. And it was supposed to unite a couple of kingdoms, I believe, between her father's kingdom and his, but we know where that story went there. All right, number 4, gentle parenting without punishment. World's trend. Never say no. Truth. A child left to himself brings shame. Discipline produces life and wisdom. And it references Proverbs chapter 29 verse 15, and that reads, the rod and the reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. And I would add father to that as well. But I've seen a lot of families, and even in my first marriage, where my wife didn't want to say the word no. I think it was there, or maybe it was my sister. But children need to be told no at times. And I think what they're afraid of is the child turning around and using no to them about things. And but that's where discipline comes into play. Not saying you need to beat your kids or anything, but strong discipline, example in your marriage, and teaching your children are keys for that. All right, number 5, separate finances. World's trend. Keep your money separate. It's safer and more independent. Truth. Ditch the prenup culture. The two shall become one flesh, and that includes finances. Division in money fuels division in marriage. And it references Genesis 2 verse 24, which reads, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Now, it doesn't really say anything about finances, and I kind of disagree on the prenup truth on this post, but I can see what they mean by it, where, you know, it's almost like they're inviting an end with a prenup. But prenup has a bad connotation to it, and I can see it, But there are good things with a prenup that you can put in a prenup that doesn't have anything to do with finances. But I'm not a lawyer. It's just some things that I've come across that I think I read it in an article or something like that. But you definitely, for your finances, need to be on the same page with each other. And your finances should be both of yours, whether you're both working or one is working. It should be both your money. Now, I did hear a good idea on this, and that is to have one joint account for all the bills, and then separate accounts for like spending money for each. But you both go over the budget to what gets allotted out and what you get for spending money. It may make budgeting it a little easier, honestly, if you do the spending separate for just your I guess fun money, I guess you could call it. But I don't know, it's just, when it boils down to, is you just need to be on the same page as far as financing, and that's part of the 4 pillars that I'm going to talk about in the next episode. On to the next page. Number 6, hustle culture. World's trend. We rest later. Sports, work, chores come first. Truth. The Sabbath is God's command for a reason. Rest, worship, and connect bring life. And it refers to Exodus 20, verses 8 through 10. And it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shall thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is for the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is in thy gates. And that also includes your wife. So it says, well, I mean, I guess it could be talking to both husband and wife in that last verse there. But hustle culture, it's good to hustle, okay? It's good to improve your life, keep yourself busy, improve your family, but definitely put one day aside for God. And a lot of people use Sunday, and that's a good thing, and they go to church, and now there's still some work you have to do, because you have to make yourself meals if you're not fasting, but unnecessary work, like housework, cleaning the house, really all should be done throughout the week. No business, stuff like that. All right, number 7, sexless marriage. World's trend. Intimacy doesn't have to be part of your marriage. Love is more than physical. The truth. Outside of sickness, abuse, or mutual fasting, withholding intimacy is dangerous. A covenant without intimacy fractures oneness and fuels temptation. And that references 1 Corinthians excuse me, chapter 7, verses 3 through 5, and it reads, Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife hath not power of her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife. Defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent, for the time that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinencies. I think I'm saying that right. I did a screenshot of my, or a picture of my scriptures verses, and it's kind of blurry in that spot. I heard a statistic not too long ago, and I can't even remember exactly what the statistic was, or the number, but there is a large percentage of sexless marriages out there. And in verse well, I don't know if it's in the scripture or not, but in the truth, it says withholding intimacy is dangerous. And another thing that's not being mentioned in either of these is rejection. When you love somebody so much and intimacy between a couple increases that love, and to be rejected hurts. It hurts a lot. And number 8, date night fix. Okay, so world's trend, as long as you squeeze in a date night once in a while, you don't need to invest in your marriage. And the truth, a healthy marriage isn't built just on a dinner and a movie. It's built on prayer, sacrifice, and oneness. Faithfulness every day matters more than a night out. And it references 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 7. And I put a maybe next to this scripture because I'm not quite sure if this scripture kind of goes with this, but I kind of can see it. All right, so the scripture reads, charity suffereth long and is kind. Hold on. Yeah, so charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not, charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseen, seeking not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in truth, bearing all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. And I can kind of see where you can use these verses to help your marriage, because both husband and wife should be charitable with each other. I don't know. I just think there's better scriptures that could describe this, but I should have looked one or two up just to put in here. But is having a date night every once in a while a bad thing? No, but it can't be the only thing, and I think that's where this is going with it. Got to go over Like, are you praying together? Are you studying the scriptures together as a husband and wife? You know, and I've always growing up heard the phrase, you know, families that pray together stay together. And I think there's a lot of premise to that. But anyways, that concludes episode 2. I appreciate you guys for listening in, all the 2 watchers that I've had so far, but it's okay. I'm going to try to keep going on with this, but I'll see you guys in the next episode, and have a blessed day.